American legation, but also of Wطnġa and its role in being such an international port and such a diverse culture with many cultures coming together. And I think it's a great example of how we can work together in space, the same way that Wطnġa over history has brought in all of these different cultures to work together, live together, different ideas. I think it's a great example of how we can move forward in space. For us to study the way human bodies work and to learn about the human body, as well as the way crystals form, the way metal alloys form, the way many different scientific systems work. The way you do any scientific experiment is you change something. You take a system and you change it and you see what happens. That's how we learn. Well, when we can go into space, we can make a very big change up there that we simply can't do on the ground. And so it's a fantastic scientific laboratory that we're learning things that actually it has resulted in new, very effective drugs and things like that. The second way that going into space helps people here on the ground is that I've talked about the problem of going into space, how difficult it is to go into space. Well, necessity is what drives invention. It's what drives new things. And the needs of space are so great that we create materials, processes, things to solve those problems up in space, and it turns out that those are the same things we use on the ground. My best example is that the integrated circuit, which is the chip, the thing that drives our entire world, it has changed our planet. It has changed Morocco. Well, that was discovered on the ground, but nobody envisioned how it could be used, how it could be useful. And it sat on a shelf for 2 years. And what led to people pulling it off the shelf, developing it, finding out that it had incredible uses, incredible purposes, was the United States declaring that they wanted to go into space, they wanted to go to the moon. So our entire world today, your world here in Morocco today, would be very different if nobody had ever said, we want to go into space. And each and every day, as we develop new materials to solve the problems of going into space, new computing capabilities, new cameras, new imagers, all of those things that we're developing for the problems of space, and the more different types of people are working on a problem, the better chance you have to actually solve that problem. And so we can't simply isolate it and say, this country and these people will work on the problem, because we may not be successful with that. I know from my own experience in working with the Russian people, they have played a big part in building our space station that we have up there right now. And we have people from all countries all over the world all the time up on the space station. But I know from my own experience in working with the Russians, they had a very different perspective of both equipment design, spacecraft design, how you operate in space. They had brought a very different perspective than all of the people in the United States that were working on the very same problems. And it is for that reason that our International Space Station is composed of so many different countries, and why we are continuing to add countries and the people of countries to work on that space station. And the next level, the next stage, whether we're going to an asteroid or going to the moon or going to the Mars or going to Mars, will be an even bigger problem, and it will require more minds, different perspectives, and different cultures in order to solve those even much bigger problems.
Take the one astronaut who's at the end of my arm and hit him on any equipment. That would obviously be very bad. Now, on my my first mission, I trained to do a spacewalk. Had something broken outside, I would have gone out and had done a spacewalk. And so I can tell you from the training that out of all the things you do as an astronaut, the spacewalk is the thing that really takes a lot of work and a lot of effort.